chosen by destiny.
But in the end,
There can be only one.
There it is, our new intro. What do you think, Smurf?
I love it. It's streamlined, it's hot, it's sexy, and Skeletor makes his appearance. Ah! I love it.
I love it too. All right, so here we are again. It's Friday. We are going to look at 3 more indie comics chosen for the Wheel of Destiny. We're going to put them up against each other and compare which one's given us the best pitch, which one makes the most sense, and then we're going to choose one to back. Because as the saying goes, in the end, there can be only one.
There can be only one.
And speaking of, as the saying goes, I think another one that's been popping up in my head a lot today is winter is coming. It's starting to get cool and rainy out there already.
I love it. It's perfect. It's the way it is supposed to be. It's called the changing of seasons. Yes.
It's spooky season, ladies and gentlemen. We're ready. We're ready.
Ready.
All right. So last weekend we had a great show at the first, I believe, hopefully, of many Chapel Hill's comic and collectible show. I walked out of there with bags of cash. No, not quite that great, but I had a great show. That's for sure. That's for sure. And I got to see Smurf. I finally, ladies and gentlemen, got the glass. I don't have it in arm's reach, but I got the Ecto glass. And Smurf was just in such pain about it. Didn't even. I think he shed a tear.
I did. One of my children. I only have one now. I don't have a matching set.
You know, it's custom in some countries to sacrifice one of your children for the greater good.
I offer myself as tribute.
Also, last week I had a really great conversation with a client through the Crowdfunding Clinic. And I'm really excited. I got 2 different campaigns in the last week that are both going to be hitting Kickstarter very soon after they make some of their adjustments that we've discussed. But I love hearing the feedback from people about, you know, the things that they're not catching, getting another pair of eyes on their campaign. So remember, if you want to get your campaign looked at before it launches and get as many backers as possible, reach out to me or go to actionlensstudios.com and check out the Crowdfund Clinic there. All right. So,
because the last thing you want to hear when you show up on our show is me saying, nobody cares about you. No one.
Exactly.
It's heartbreaking. Wrecking, actually.
Exactly.
Just saying. Getting my note stuff ready over here, because last week we had Vicky Sticks, What My Eyes See, and Purity #1, Season of the Witch. It was a good week last week. That was some solid presentations from all of those guys. Hopefully they took our input, our feedback in a positive manner, because that is what it is meant to be.
Well, this week we got a nice lineup of comics, some of them coming from some places outside of Kickstarter, because we don't want to forget those people. We've got one from Fund My Comic, and we've also got another one on the list from Backer Kit, which I always forget that Backer Kit started off as like an addendum to Kickstarter. It was a way to get those extra funds when it was time to package things up. And so you would send out, 3, 4, 5 weeks later, you'd send out another backer kit that said, hey, are you sure you don't want to get some more things, and they could add it on. Plus they kind of organized things for you. They were kind of a service that did fulfillment. Now, though, they've progressed to having sort of their own page platform to launch, which is cool. But again, you always run into this challenge of when it comes to creating a platform. I mean, excuse me, of funding a comic on a crowdfunding platform. Like, why would you not go where the people are, right? Kickstarter has like the biggest crowd, and then you've got these other ones like Fund My Comic and now Backer Kit that have some other benefits. Like I know Fund My Comic, for instance, like doesn't have as many restrictions. You can do sexier stuff if you want. They also pay you whatever you raise. If you raise like half the money, you get that, right? So they have their benefits, but is it still worth it when there aren't as many people going and checking it out? That's the challenge.
I mean, do you want quality or quantity? So, I mean, it does raise the question, where's the money coming from and how successful have you been in just getting your name out there, talking, presenting yourself at cons, your local comic book store, just even your online presence, which is huge because you have to be active in this community, even if it's not in Kickstarter. But if you're, in the chat forums or if you're in panels and groups, be out there, get people aware of you and your projects, because that's the only way you're going to succeed. Guarantee it. They got to know who you are, because if you say Smurf, they may not know who I am, but they have heard of me or they loathe me. It's one or the other. So,
or like last week, they say, "Hey, are you a comic book booth babe?"
Oh my God, what the hell was that? Oh, and on top of it, okay. So not only did I get asked if I was a comic book booth babe, but I'm at the
which by the way, there's nothing wrong with the booth babe.
No.
Booth babe.
You know what? I need a booth babe. There's no way anyone's going to come and see this mug all of the time. So absolutely need the skill at the table. Walking through the park, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm on my way there for the Labor Day balloon launch, and someone comes up to me and says, Matt Campbell? And I'm like, okay, yes, I do. And of course, I'm walking through a field, holding my coffee, sunglasses are on. I have not said a word. I'm just walking. You're on that show. I know you. You're Smurf. And I'm like, yes, I am. So again, not only am I a booth babe, but I am recognizable in public at a park with a sea of thousands of people. So thank you for saying hello. They identified themselves as a lurker, and we need more lurkers like that, damn it.
Hey, speaking of which, Casey Jones,
there she is. That was me.
That was me. So it's one of those. Hey, you're Matt's friend.
You're that guy. It happened to me in Seattle at Emerald City. I know you. Yeah, probably. And I'm just toying with them. Like, I don't know if they know me or not, but they start going through like all these things. I'm like, yeah. But they have no idea. Like, I feel like I should know who you are. I was like, you should. You just named like 3 things I've done. So it's actually very entertaining. So.
Well, to be fair, Casey is one of my students at the college, or was one of my students, former students. And so I get a lot of, connection with the community here because I'm teaching them, and they go out into the community and they see us again later, and they're like, but Casey is one of the best fans. She is always liking my stuff. She's following my stuff. And so thank you so much for that, Casey.
No, she was absolutely pleasant. It was amazing to speak with one of the fans in the raw, in the wild. It was just
in the wild.
It was in the wild. And Brenda, of course, is like, I can't take you anywhere. And I'm like, sorry, it's not my fault. I didn't even say anything. I'm just here to launch some balloons. That's all I want to do.
All right, let's get into the nitty gritty of what this show is all about. We're going to look at 3 campaigns. We are going to basically we're looking at it from a point of view of a consumer. When I look at these campaigns, or we look at these campaigns, we're looking for things like, what's this story about? Who are the characters? What do the characters want? How is this book different? Is it just another superhero book? Are you pitching it as, this is an epic superhero comic because that's something we've seen before. So those are the things that we look at. And then when you want to get, more specific breakdown feedback, be sure and check out the campaign clinic. In the meantime, let's go ahead and see who we got on the wheel, and then we'll get to spinning it. First up, we've got Sketch Night. I think it's on their last week, but this is a comic book about someone who has powers based on drawing. So for those of you that are into making comics, you can't get much better than that. We have another one called Ripped, number 3. Don't Combust, the comic series. A new one called The Atomic Thunderbolts, new for us anyway, even though they're on their 6th issue. One called Worrywart. Blood and Fire, which has been on the show before. I think it's a collection of all 3 in a book. Another one's been on the show before, Shark of War. And then we have on Fund My Comic a book called Arbiter. And then a book called Canon of Vangel. And then lastly, on Backer Kit, we have Echoes, a one-shot horror comic. So definitely feel like Smurf might like that one. So, Josh says, epic. We need an epic counter. Like every time we come across a campaign that says epic, we need to like take a shot or take a drink or something.
I mean, if there's just one abused fucking word out there, it's epic. Get a thesaurus. There's so many other synonyms for epic. Come on, guys.
I feel like I probably have even used that word, but Caden says 3 campaigns ended, but only 3 campaigns leave totally unharmed, but with some advice. That's right. We try to give some feedback. Benjamin says, I keep forgetting to check Backer Kit for comics. I know, right? We were just talking about how it started off as an addendum to Kickstarter, and now it's its own thing. So, Comic Unknown says, be sure and add epic to my next campaign.
Yes,
you can add it if it's actually epic, All right, so let's see here. Are you guys ready to spin this wheel? Are we ready to get into the Wheel of Destiny? Are you ready, Smurf?
I am so ready. I am blue with excitement.
All right.
Let's fucking go.
There can be only one Highlander type situation. Behold, my Wheel of
Destiny.
Pitter patter, let's get at her.
Time to spin the wheel.
All right, time to spin the wheel. Let's do it. First up on the wheel, today's Wheel of Destiny is going to be number 1. Oh, on its last week, Sketch Night. I know some of you on here probably know who the creators of Sketch Night are, so be sure and go ahead and send out a message to them and let them know that they are about to be on this comic book showdown of Ultimate Destiny. All right, next up, number 2. Looks like our horror comic from Backer Kit, Echoes. So we got some horror on the show for you, Smurf.
Make me happy.
All right. That leaves our third and final entry for today's episode of the Comic Book Showdown of Ultimate Destiny. Number 3 is gonna be Ripped. Number 3. All right, guys. There you have it. So, let's hear from a little bit about our sponsor before we move on into checking out our first
Let's
campaign.
talk about fulfillment for a second. You've worked your butt off to get your comic made and crowdfund your book. Now you're faced with sorting, packing, labeling, shipping, and tracking potentially hundreds of backers. Fulfillment can make or break your indie comic campaign. It can be downright overwhelming, especially if you're a one-person operation. That's why we're excited to share that our new sponsor, Gemini Mailers, now offers full-service fulfillment designed specifically for independent comic creators. They're offering fulfillment starting at just $2.50 per order, including Gemini's premium mailers shipping at cost. No markup storage, no monthly minimums, so you can ship in waves if you want. They even have custom packaging options like shrink wrap, filler pads, and more. These guys get it because they've been mailing our comics for years. And now they've built a warehouse operation that's already helping creators like us fulfill campaigns smoothly. So if your next campaign feels like it's going to bury you in boxes, be sure to check out GeminiComicSupply.com. This isn't just shipping, it's peace of mind. Josh was cracking me up in the chat, and I wanted to share them, but I knew it would kind of cover up our sponsor. We don't want to cover up our sponsor, but he was referring to me as Billy Mays.
Willie Mays Hayes.
I have to tell you about the cleaning power of Power Geminis, and today you can get 2 for the price of 1.
Sham wow!
That's right.
Gemini mailers! Yeah!
All right. Everybody's eardrums been blown out now.
Yep. Hey, that was low volume. That was minimal volume.
All right. We'll see. We'll see what the audience says. Whether or not they were like, low volume, my ass, that my ears are bleeding.
Smurf does not need a microphone.
No,
Rule number 1.
All right. So, are you guys ready for number 1 here? Let's
Sketch
see.
nights.
Sketch night. I'm excited about this one. I've been hearing a lot about this all over Facebook, all over Discord. So let's check it out right now. All right, let's actually go to this one. I like this one. All right, let's jump right in here. Sketch night number 1, a Rook City Universe comic. All right, so I always like to pretend I don't know anything about any of these companies. So let's pretend I don't know what Rook City Universe is. So it's just Sketch Night number 1. Sketch Night follows William Wilds as he navigates his powers, friendships, and graduating high school. Oh, and the crime syndicate. So let's see. We got a video. They've already hit goal. Their goal was 2,897. I think that's in like Canadian dollars. So it's a little strange number there. And they haven't hit goal quite yet. They're at 2001. So they're well on their way, but they've got 16 days to go. They've got a video there. They've got lots of content here. I'm excited to see all this. My cursor's like grabbing a bunch of stuff. There we go. All right, so let's jump up to the video and see what it has to tell us.
Sketch night here. Just trying to make the city safer one sketch at a time. I can't erase the bad in the world, but I can sketch something good. You know, there is something about this feeling flying through my city without a care in the world. What do you got for me today, Rook City?
And it's done, just like that. Boom.
Yeah.
That was a quick ending.
It was.
All right, so that was a fun little beat. Had me moving a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think it hits the first criteria of does it get your attention?
It does.
Got my attention. Yeah. So what else did you guys get from that video? What does it tell you about the comic? What are we getting? What do we know so far?
my big takeaway was his. I do agreed. I like the art. Very very clean, very cool. The music kind of made me think of like Charlie Brown. Everyone's just kind of sitting there jamming. I did like the tagline. I can't erase the evil, but I can draw something good, and I liked that. In fact, I would almost integrate that somewhere else within the campaign. I'm sure it may be there, but I liked that hook was great. Like, okay, so he's got something different, something we haven't seen yet. So I again engaging. I know enough that I want to know more, and that's a positive.
Yeah. I also learned, of the hero. We have our hero Sketch Knight, who's got kind of a quippy Spider-Man style hero kind of feel to him, except like you said, with these abilities of sketching, got a little Full Metal Alchemist kind of feel to it almost.
I was gonna say Vincent from Final Fantasy VII, but yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah. So. Yeah, all in all, I feel like it's pretty good. I like that there was some almost said voiceover. And so that's always nice. I feel like a lot of times we get some cool music, and then we get some slides of some artwork, but we don't actually get any information. And so I like the way that the information was being delivered as sort of from the character point of view kind of thing. That was fun, but it still gave us some information about what the story is about. Because when you get a panel like this, it's cool to look at, but you don't have time to really process information or read. So you're just like looking at the art. And so all in all, I think that this was pretty well done video. It gets the vibe going, kind of the feel. It shows me some art, and the art looks fun. And gives me a little bit of information, just enough to want to keep going. So all in all, I think that score is pretty high on the video mark. It's a good job. Good job out there. All right.
And I've got questions because I saw a wheelchair, so makes me wonder if he suffers from a disability of some kind. And how long does a sketch last? I mean, that would be like, is there a time limit? Are there like parameters on his powers? Because if you're sketching it, I mean, is it until the lead and the pencil runs out? But I mean, it's kind of some interesting premises, and I like the direction.
Yep.
Premise.
Okay, so we got some information, a little bit of information here, but then we've got some more right here. I'm gonna take a quick skim through this, and then we'll break down what we get from it, the positives and the negatives. Because right now we don't have all the answers yet, but you're not going to get all the answers from a video. There's just not enough time. The video is more about just getting people excited, getting them just enough information to make them want more. But in your campaign, you definitely want to lead in quick with the vitals of the information. So let's see what they tell us. It says, Sketch Knight takes the quippiness of Spider-Man. Hey, look. Almost took my words exactly. Mixed with Full Metal Alchemist. I feel like either I read this subconsciously, like in the past, or we're on the same
good
line.
at relaying a message to you.
Sketch Knight is set in a world with no alien babies landing in wheat fields. Wait, Sketch Knight is set in a world with no alien babies landing in wheat fields, no chemical reactions granting super speed. Maybe a couple orphans turn vigilantes. Instead, people are affected by a human mutation giving them powers. These people are called enhanced. All right, that's the premise. Still don't have story parts yet. Haven and Sketch Knight, along with everything in the Rook City universe, grows and expands Rook City. Okay, and I'm familiar with the title Haven, but I couldn't tell you yet who that character is, so I don't know. So that's sort of a pronoun being used that I'm not familiar with yet. The reason we focus on a city is so that it can grow and evolve alongside the stories told within it. This allows tie-ins of both series while telling their own narrative, like how Daredevil and Spider-Man share New York City. All right, so We print and ship all our comics in the United States, which means shipping rates are $11 USD in America. We strive to get shipping rates as low as possible. All right, so that was our first 3 paragraphs there. And more than anything, that's kind of setting up their universe. It's kind of setting up their world and not really giving me some meat and potatoes about this book, why I should get excited about this book.
Yep. I think because if this is really the premise here, this should be above, and then you go into the world building or even this preview. So you want, and I can appreciate proper world building, but it needs to be in its perspective place, because Matt says it. What's this about? Okay, great world, but what am I getting in this issue?
Yep. All right, so in a universe where enhanced are feared upon and shunned lives William Wilds, a senior in high school that hides the truth about himself because he is one of them. You see, William goes through a turmoil of living in a mass truth and trying to keep his city safe. Despite how grim the world turns, William faces danger with a quip, and his banter is steadfast. 24-page comic planned for 12 issues. Yeah. All right, so again, I think our audience is starting to catch on to what we look for here. All right, we got Out of Touch saying, hey, who's he fighting against? And what is the story? Exactly, right? So that's what's really missing here, is a clear villain threat. We know who the hero is. You spent quite a bit of time letting us know the powers of the hero. Honestly, I still don't know even a lot about how his powers work. I just know there are enhanced people, and his have something to do with sketching. I only know that from the video. So hopefully you watched the video. If you're not, you didn't get that in the content. So we don't know what they're fighting against, exactly what the Out of Touch one says. So without any kind of conflict or a specific antagonist, it feels very vague, just like the premise. And the other thing that not having a villain or is really the stakes. What's at stake? What does he stand to lose? Like you said, I saw a wheelchair. If he loses his abilities, does he not have, does he not have the ability to walk anymore? Is he in a wheelchair? Is that not even him? I don't know. Having something at stake is one of the most important things that you can put in your pitch, because this leaves the audience with the question, will they or won't they succeed, or are they gonna lose their thing, their loved one? Will they save their loved one? Will they save the city in time from this impending doom? You got to spell out what the issue is. And a lot of people think, oh, that's spoilers. That's not spoilers, right? That's just clearly identifying what kind of story this is.
I mean, unless the townsfolk are going to rise up against you because you are enhanced. I mean, there's really, if you're enhanced, why are you trying to help the city? Help the city against what? I mean, you can a corrupt syndicate, cops that are abusing, their powers, a mayor that's dirty. I mean, you get boom. That sets the entire stage for what the story we're about to partake on, that we're going to share together. Because a corporation, Norman Osborn, name irrelevant, but Oscorp has run amok. Oh, right. Oscorp, you don't say. I mean, if it is the pluckiness of Spider-Man, you could still do some specific things in the vein that Spider-Man has founded his entire career on, of established headstones, if you will, of different situations. And I think that's what's missing. I like everything that I have seen. The art is good, the premise is good, but it's vague soup right now. And I'm not
Vague soup. I like it.
Vague soup.
All right. Another thing I want to add that could be improved here is, well, two things actually. Number one is going back to what you were saying about the quippiness and the characters in the video and in the first sentence. I got the impression that this was going to be sort of a fun, quippy kind of Spider-Man-esque kind of thing. But then later on, they mentioned about building this world around a city like New York, and you mentioned Daredevil, which is a very different vibe of comic. It's dark. So what that does is it sends a mixed signal to me of like, well, what kind of comic is this? Is it dark, or is it quippy, or is it somewhere in the middle? Be a little bit clear on what kind of thing I'm getting, because people have interests. They have genre types, and they're like, I want to see something fun, or I want to see something dark, and you want to be clear about what they're getting. The other thing that I'd say here is you got some great art. Everyone's commented already in the chat how cool this art looks. And right here, this is a great looking shot. We've got the character in action flying over the city. I like how the rest of the background is dimmed so the character really stands out. But then up here, we've got this shot. And again, there's that wheelchair again. So I'm assuming, that has something to do with his abilities. It might just say in that, but I can't read it. But then up here for the first 3 pages, I want to take a look at this, right? You got this shot. That's another cool shot. Fighting some guys on the rooftops, right? Keep that. But then here we've got, check this out. This is a school shot. People walking around, talking. Another shot, people walking around, talking. Another shot, people sitting around the lunch table, and here he is drawing, right? And then we got something happening, right? You only have so much space on a campaign. You want to show your artwork, but you want to show hooking, inciting artwork, not conversation scenes. Conversation scenes are vital to a comic. They actually take up more space in comics than usually the action does. We know they have to be there, but that's generally not the ones that you want to hook people with. When you watch a movie trailer, they don't show you the conversation scenes most of the time, right? Unless they're saying something.
Unless someone's going through the window at the end of the conversation. I mean, this isn't a Dave Bautista film, okay? But I mean, I wouldn't mind like two scenes setting, like the school on the outside, them walking down the hall, and then the action scene. I mean, at least, okay, he is in high school. I know that's in the description, but at least it sets the parameters.
Say it for us, Smurf. Say it for us.
In a world, there is a man in a chair, and what he does is sketch. Sketch your legs, sketch your life off, because here we are. It is the sketch night, and he is here to avenge the eraser.
Nice. See, this is why you want to hire Smurf. I like
where people have
in a world where people have conversations around the lunch table.
At the end, they go through windows, doors, tables.
Yeah. Braden is the creator of this comic. I'm not 100% sure who the artist is. I might have mentioned it, but you got great work. You got a great premise. I love this premise. Love the artwork. But give us some information more about what's at stake. What's the conflict? And then over here on the left side of the screen, right over here, you are using jump points. But these are not jump points that are the kind of things that people are looking for. The first one is at 85 backers, unlock this. At 100 backers, unlock this. At 125 backers. Well, why am I hearing about that when I don't know what the story's about yet? Right? So, yes, you want to use those jump points, but use them in a way that or thinking as in a person who, is looking for things. Have one for what's the story. Have one for like a little detail about the character. Like diving into what the character's powers and abilities are. Maybe have another one for how many pages and what size the book and when it's going to be out and that kind of thing. Some vital information jump points, and then just have one that says backer bonuses, and the whole backer bonus area can be listed. I do love that they're using number of backers instead of monetary jumps, because that tells us that their goal is to get more backers. And if your goal is to get more backers, then you should definitely be writing your campaign pitch as if it's the people who'd never heard of it before, which means we don't really need to lean in on Rook City Universe. I mean, not at the beginning. Let's put that stuff down lower. Like you could have a little jump point on the over here that says about the Rook City Universe, and have it down here. All right, let's jump into the rewards before we spend any more time on this. Let me switch to this view so we can see some more. Welcome to Rook City. Become a citizen. Get your name printed on the back as a citizen of Rook City. All right, $5.
I like
$4.
that. That's fun.
You get something. I like it. A digital PDF for $6 US. And then a deluxe PDF for $8, which gives you a digital copy. Then another copy of just the inks, and then a behind the scenes of the project, I guess, sketches and notes and stuff. That's pretty cool for $8. A digital catch-up tier. I don't know what we're catching up. Oh, you also get Haven #1. So the other book in their universe.
Gotcha.
Then we have our physical copies. Sketch Night Cover A, $11. So physical copy of the original Sketch Night cover. All right. So I'm looking over here. It says right here, if you hover over it, that 4 items are included. So you get your name listed. You get a digital PDF. You get a physical copy and something else, right? The little note for creators out there, yes, you want to have these items listed like this, but unless I hovered over that, I would not have known that this book comes with the digital copy. So write that up here in the description, okay? Make a list of what they're getting, because knowing that I'm getting a PDF with my physical copy for $11 makes a huge difference. So you want to be clear about that right there in the description, okay? What's your question here? What's the net rate for making magnets for rewards? Which reward section would that fall under? I'm not sure how to answer that question. Maybe there's magnets in here that I haven't come across, because I don't know how to answer that question. Which reward section that would fall under? Are you talking about for this campaign or a campaign in general? That's a really big question. There's a lot going on.
That's a broad question. We need specifics.
Yeah. All right. So Sketch Night #1 cover C is a little bit more. It's made by our good friend Gerald von Stoddard.
Good old Gerald.
Says only available on Kickstarter. Only 20 of 20. So also we have a reasoning for the price jump. It's limited edition. There's only 20 of them. That's super limited.
Smart.
And I got one of those, I would send it to CGC right away.
Yep.
All right. We did the same thing for cover B by Donovan Corcoran. I probably butchered that name. Sorry, Donovan. Then we have physical catch up. We have every cover bundle. And then we have a background character tier. Here we go. 3 physical copies for a discounted price, as well as become a background character in a future issue of Sketch Night for only $102. That's a steal. 3 books and get drawn into the next book. That's a great deal. And you get a PDF.
I like $102.
Well, the reason is that I'm reading the US dollar translation price.
Yeah.
It is 140 Canadian dollars. So nice rounded Canadian dollar number.
Nice round Canadian.
Yes. So early bird digital, they got some early bird rewards, lots of early bird rewards. Holy moly, they had like 6, 7 early bird rewards. Still going. Yeah, there was almost as many early bird rewards as there were other awards. And finally, we get to our final thing, the Rook City Ultimate Tier for for $363 you get 3 physical copies, get to be a background character drawn in the book, a copy of Haven #1, their other title, and all the future projects at the physical tier for everything released for Rook City and True Believer. Man, how
Wow.
do you, that means you got to hold them to that. Like if they release 10 books, 20 books, 100 books, like you said, I get them all.
You said I get them all right there.
Right.
I would rephrase that to limit to sketch night or a specific thing, because that is that is generous and vague enough that you could get totally screwed.
Well, I mean, to me, there's two sides of that coin. I mean, they've got 2 people backing that already at $500. So first of all, good job on having that big whale tier. You always want to include those. But 2 sides of that coin. Number one, yeah, if you end up making a lot of comics, you've promised at least a couple of people they're going to get that copy. But honestly, you know, you'd have to make a lot of comics before that started hurting your pocket.
True, but you're sending out issues. You got to keep track of these 2 as you continue to do more projects. I would be careful of what you promise, because that could really come back and bite you in the ass. I like the idea, and don't get me wrong, I think it is very very inventive, very clever. They're in for the ride, and I would limit it to Sketch Night, the Sketch Night title. And I would leave it the way it is, but I would just define exactly what it is, like just for Sketch Night, because that's vague enough that, you know, you got Joey Bag of Donuts, who is, you know, a little cranky, and he's like, "Where's my other comic?" You know, it only takes one to just become a keyboard troll, and you don't need that. You don't want that. So I would just redefine exactly what that is. That's all.
I was gonna leave it at that. But the other thing I thought of is that, like, you have the other end of that coin where people, you know, maybe something happens and you don't end up producing a lot of books, and then they're like, "Hey, I paid you like $500. You owe me some books, man. Start making some more books." Now you got some people like knocking down your door, going, "Make some more books. Get working."
That's right. You got the villagers at the door with pitchforks and torches. No.
But in the end, though, I still think it's a good tier. I still think I mean, you are getting to be drawn in it. And again, I think that as long as they make some comics in the future, they'll probably be okay. But I definitely would have said, you know, 10 books, or, you know, for the next couple of years, or some kind of cap.
Well, and what Sketch Night is going to be, 12 issues? That's what they said at the beginning. I would leave it at that, because there's time. How quickly are you going to crank out these 12 issues? And you got those guys like, "I haven't seen a book in a year," you know, and we know life happens while you're making other plans. I wouldn't set yourself up for that kind of problem as forecasting, as problems do happen. So I would redefine that tier. Great tier, great idea. Just refine it.
All right, that brings us to our next one. Be sure and subscribe to our channel on the YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure and subscribe. We are on our way to 1 million followers, 1 million subscribers. So close. All right, so we've got our next campaign entry, Echoes, a one-shot horror comic. Are you excited about this one? It's a horror comic.
I am. I like the horror. It has kind of like the Luna Brothers look to the screen here, but it doesn't look like it's a video. So,
well, yeah, we're on backer
like the
kit,
style.
so maybe it's buried somewhere.
Maybe.
Not 100% sure.
Maybe. We've got what, $167 raised? Is that correct? By 9
backers, yeah. And then their goal is 6,000.
Oh,
figure out.
That's $18 so far for those backers.
Yes,
that's a lot for a. I mean, that's ambitious. I don't want to say that that's bad, obviously, and I'm sure Matt will back me on this. You're probably paying for your artist or you're paying for something, but I've got that's a lot. That is a lot, and you're not even on the main. You're not even on the main drag. You're kind of off to the side. You know what I'm saying? So
on the side streets. Yeah.
you're on the side street. You're not even on the main drag. I don't know. Ooh, oof, da. All right.
So yeah, it's basically, when you get a goal that's up in the multi thousands, especially over 5,000, you're talking about, you need a strong fan base to succeed. And one of the benefits of Kickstarter is that, if you don't have that whole fan base already, you can kind of collect some new ones there, because there's going to be a lot of just passerby traffic. And so honestly, I'd say if you were a new creator, that's probably one of the strongest places to go. I don't know all the benefits of having a backer kit. Maybe some of you guys know some of the benefits of backer kit. But you do sacrifice having a lot more views. So this could be a tough climb. All right, so let's dive into what it tells us a little bit. We've got over here, this upper right-hand section says, in the early morning hours after the witch is burned, a soul mourner comes to pay their respects to the smoldering stake, only to find out that something is lurking in the nearby woods. Think the witch meets annihilation.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. All right, so it's also a single comic, so we don't have to wait for a return. I'm always impressed when people can tell a horror comic story in a single 24, 28 page thing, because to me, it takes time to sort of like build up the suspense. And so this will be interesting. Okay, so we got a little animated GIF going on here with some covers. Let's take a quick glance at some of these cool covers. Looks like there are two of them.
Just all both of them?
It's all both of them.
All both of them?
Okay, it looks like Backer Kid is modeling after Kickstarter. They have jump points over here on the left as well.
Okay.
So the first one says, "What is Echoes?" That's a great place to start.
Mm-hmm.
It says Echoes is a 28-page black and white one-shot comic about what happens the morning after the village burns the witch. It's an eerie Puritan folk horror that reads like The Witch meets Midnight Mass. Well, now, okay.
That's perfect.
All right. So quick note before I get into some more description here is I've made a mental note here that they're raising $6,000. When we say that, we assume that's because they're a writer and they need to pay for an artist, a colorist, a letterer, and they get the books printed. Now we know there's no colorist. That drops anywhere, depending on who you're getting, $50 to $100 a page. So I am curious why the price is quite that high, unless they're planning on printing a whole lot of these, which is also curious. So let's go on to see what it says. In the small hours of a November morning, Mariah sneaks out to the still smoldering stake where her friend was burned as a witch the night before to place a bouquet of flowers at her feet. Soon, the whole village is covered in new growth as a miracle revitalizes the earth. The town rejoices, but only Mariah seems to notice the water turning black and the strange sounds coming from the edge of the forest. Echoes tells the terrifying story of a Puritan town reaping exactly what they've sown, where the celebration at the feet of the charred corpse turns into blood-curdling screams and the wilderness claims that what belongs to it once again. It's a story about the reverberations of heinous acts and the guilt of being a bystander in a cruel system. It's a warning about why you should never, ever burn the witch. Right, what'd you think of that opening pitch?
I love that. That is glorious. It sets the tone. I can absolutely just get in on this. It checks a crap load of boxes. The only downside, the only bad thing is it's not on Kickstarter. I honestly think that this would be doing a lot better just because of that premise, and that eloquently written pitch is perfect. I wouldn't change a damn thing. Not at all. I think, and I mean it does play into like the heart of like my background with EC Comics and getting the horror off the turn rack and all of that. This is glorious. It's well thought out. It's well written. I applaud thee. Yeah, and those that are about to burn, we salute you. Yeah, very, very Japanese horror type. Very.
So yeah, I agree. This has Out of Touch says Japanese horror type. I'm digging it. Yes. We know who the players are. That was a very clear and concise intro. It told us that we have Mariah, the young woman mourning her friend. We have the Puritan town, so we know what that is. We know that what they want, and like what's at stake, which is the curse and why we should care about what's going on. And I think that there's a lot of information given in those two little paragraphs. I would say that I guess the villain is the witch that was burned.
But see, that's what I love about it. Is it, or is it the Puritan town? They burned this woman, and they shouldn't have. So I like that line, that juxtaposition of who is the villain? Is it the witch, or is it the town? I mean, this is very Jordan Peele kind of horror setting, and I absolutely love this. Anyway, sorry. Who is the villain?
I agree. I like that this is a case where not knowing the villain was presented in a way that definitely gave it intrigue and curiosity. Because I think that only works though because there was so much other information given. Mm-hmm. Whereas on the last campaign, we just heard about the city and the character. We had there are actually a lot of parallels between the last one and this one. We had the city established. Here we got a Puritan town. We've got, the main character. But this one really was a much clearer emphasis on what's at stake. And I think that was the part that was missing in the last one. So great job. I can't wait to see how that one plays out. Colleen's with us and says it's the perfect season for it. Yes, the season of the witch. I love it. So Fish wants to know, is this project part of BackerKit's Printopia? Would it say that somewhere? I'm not as familiar with BackerKit, so we were just talking about what are the benefits of going through BackerKit opposed to Kickstarter, because there's obviously a lot less traffic on BackerKit opposed to Kickstarter. So if you know any of that information, feel free to throw it in the chat. Here's take a quick look at the artwork. If you guys are not already following along on the site here, some cool looking sketchy kind of black and white art, like the grayscale. It does again still have sort of that Japanese little touch of manga going on in it. I like it. Boy, her friend is just a skeleton. I want to know what's still holding her friend to the tree. If all the clothes have been burned off, like, is she probably nailed on the other side?
The flesh just melted to the tree.
Just melted to the tree. I got you. Then we have. I love the textury detail in here.
No, the hash work on this is great. I mean, that is some impressive detail.
Yeah, lots of detail. Like the look. Then we have a section here that I encourage some other people to use more often. You want to keep it short. You don't want to go on and on about it. But here we got just a section about Mariah and who she is, and then Thomas and who the players are. And especially when you have like a hero and a villain, or maybe in the case of some of these books we've looked at, there's multiple heroes, listing out like what their strengths and weaknesses are, what their abilities are, makes a huge aid in hooking us. So Fish is responding and says, if it is part of the backer kit's Printopia, they will push it hard. So hopefully it is. I don't really know yet. And then he also says, I got 145 more backers on Alice #1 as a part of Comictopia. And is that something that you ran through Backer Kit as well? So I think I remember Comictopia. Also, curious question, how do you know you got more backers because of it being part of Comictopia? How were you able to gauge that? That's really curious stuff.
And then, I mean, also from like a statistics standpoint, and I don't want to get mathy on everybody, but okay, you get 145 more people, which, okay, I don't know how you would gauge that, but of those 145 people, how much did they contribute to the campaign? I mean, if they're 145 and each one's kicking in like $5, but I mean, if you're getting substantial backing from those 145, then I can see it. But it's a skewered statistic that I don't know where you would get the test pool for that. You know, like when people say 50% of people polled. Okay, well, how many people were polled? If it's two, if it's two people and 50% were for it, that's great. But I mean.
Well, my guess is that there's probably a way to see, because, like, for instance, when you have a link on your website, or and you share it to certain people, you're told that it came from that person. There may be some situation like that where how many backers you got, and then it tells you some of them came from this direction. I think Fish is answering that question right now. He says, I got 245 backers on Comictopia opposed to the 100 I usually get on Kickstarter. A lot of them were smaller backers to get the crossover goodies. All right. So this is a story about getting more. So real quick, just to clarify before I mess this up, was Comictopia on Kickstarter or was it on Backer Kit?
Or was it on both?
Or was it on both? Yeah.
Because I mean, to have that correlation between the 245 versus 100,
I think I missed the window on Comictopia.
Yeah.
So then I would ask, where's the action pics? But for 28 pages, how much should you show and which part, as not to give too much away? That's kind of what we were talking about on our last campaign, is like, how much do you show? It says the first 5 pages. So this is like the presentation, probably not wanting to give too much away, but you're right. One of the things that I tell people in my crowdfund clinic is when I start working on a book that I know I'm going to crowdfund, and I've got the script and it's time to start working on the art, the very first thing I think about is, all right, which of the art is going to be the most marketable art? And I actually either work on those pages first, or I hire my artist to work on those pages first. So it might be page 7 or 13. Obviously, you don't want to give away too much, but a lot of times your first several pages are the setup, and it's not that exciting. However, that being said, sort of like the pitch not telling us who the villain is, I kind of appreciate on this one that it's not giving us too much. And I don't know if it's necessarily an action type of comic either.
No, and it's more a suspense and all of that. But I think it only sets the stage for what they've already told us. In the explanation, in the pitch, we already know that Homegirl's friend went up like, a tinderbox, okay? And to see the visual of her still stuck to the tree is kind of jarring. So I think it sets the stage, and the real horror is what's yet to come. So I think this does a really well job of setting the tone, the stage, and it's only going to get worse from here, which is already pretty freaking grim. I mean,
yep.
There are no clothes on that body. Not even like nothing.
It's definitely dead.
Yep, it is. Oh, she dead.
Yep. All right, real quick before we jump into the stretch goals, which I gotta dig a little bit for, I want to follow up with our final conversation with Fish about backer kit. He says that Comictopia thing was on backer kit. So you're comparing that you got 245 backers on backer kit through their project called Comictopia, opposed to $100. So this is encouraging. That means that there's potential to have better volume, better people, not better people, but more quality, more quantity of people actually on backer kit than you did on Kickstarter. That's an impressive piece of information to know. And now this year it's called Printtopia. And so I definitely want to check into what those are exactly. I've been so kind of like focused on Kickstarter, I didn't even go investigate those things. But that's impressive to me that you can get more backers on a site that doesn't have as what I have thought didn't have as much traffic as Kickstarter. So that's pretty interesting.
And maybe it's also you're not having, I mean, I can see the benefit of a smaller site. You're not having to fight for the dollar, when you're dealing with, 300, 400 plus campaigns. And, you go to a smaller site where your work is obviously speaking for itself, and there's less competition. And I get that. And I would, to be honest, I'd be running on both, but that's just me. I'm a greedy nerd. I'd be running both right now, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know how much work it is to try and run two platforms at the same time. I have seen people do one and then like once that one's done, turn right around and run it on another with like a couple of different covers. But Fish says there's a lot of nice features like being able to live stream right on their homepage. That's
wow. Cool. Okay. That's cool.
But a lot of Kickstarter backers wouldn't go over there to back it. So you're not pulling from Kickstarter, you're pulling from a new crowd. Interesting, okay. Interesting. All right, let's get to the digital rewards so we can get to our last entry. This says digital copy is $8. Remember, it is a 28-page comic. I like these graphics. They're really pretty. They're just a bit space consuming. I mean, they're going to take up a lot of scroll here. So we got $8 digital, $15 physical, and a digital like that. I always love seeing it come with that. Then we've got $25 variant by Kelly Williams. Again, I'd probably list why it's more. Limited quantities, something. Then we have the horror bundle. Get 3 horror books from Ryder Wells Thompson. You get Echoes B, so the limited edition B cover. And then it looks like 2 actual like books. So, what if you don't like reading novels? You're a hardcore comic and that's it person. I don't know.
That's all I read are comics.
I have to have the pictures. And then we have add-ons. So they have essentially their highest bundle is $60, and that includes books. I gotta read. I don't get pretty pictures. I would definitely, especially for a goal of $6,000, I'd be trying to focus in on a whale tier of some kind, maybe a couple bigger tiers, because you basically go from $25 to $60, and then you're out. That's not enough, man. You're not going to get 6,000 with that. I'm sorry. No. You need a couple of bigger tiers, and then we've got some add-on stuff here. But this is going to be a tough campaign based on what you're offering. It's good looking art, good story, wonderful premise, great pitch. I think the rewards is probably the weakest thing on here. It needs some work.
I would as a whale tier, I would be looking at maybe a limited print, a sketch cover of the witch. I mean, or what there's something waiting for us in the woods. What is it? I would do, after you get the comic, you get a special reveal cover. I would do something along those lines and do a sketch cover for $150, and
or if this comic isn't finished, like put me in it and kill me off as one of the villagers. You know,
let me get eaten by a tree. I like that idea.
Right. Out of Touch says a reward of a figurine. The problem with that is it costs thousands of dollars to get a mold made and to get your first figurine. Unless you just have someone custom make you one, to go to a toy or even a figurine dealer, it can get expensive. So that can be challenging.
Unless you're really
maybe
good with a 3D printer.
Or a 3D printer could work. Yeah. Dead Cosmos says, put it on a shirt. Let's see that skeleton stuck to the tree on a shirt. You know?
Yes. Cool. Echoes and just around the head of the skull. And
yes.
I mean, there are some opportunities. There's a way of growing that initial whale tier. There's some great ideas. There's some awesome opportunities. I really like this campaign.
Yeah.
But we can't stay on it forever. Let's get ripped.
Let's get ripped. All right, on to
Let's get ripped.
Final entry. Ripped number 3. Time for me to fly. Now, mostly in control of his powers, Gary Growler gets his chance to become the hero he's always wanted to be. Ripped number 3. Shit just got real. And check this out. I've never seen this before. This is a lucky landing on the right moment of the day. They have a goal of $1,000, and they have raised exactly $1,000.
Nice. All right.
Yes, thank you, Brian. Be sure and hit the like button. Be sure and subscribe to the channel. If you're on Facebook and you're watching this, be sure and share it out to some of those awesome Facebook groups, because we want to reach out to all the indie comic creators and let them know we're here to help. All right. Now, there's an interesting one for you. I'll let you do some calculator stuff over there, Smurf. They've raised $1,000 exactly, but they have 13 backers, which means some people are throwing down some money.
We're looking at $77 basically per person.
That is a lot.
That's a lot. I mean, that must be there must be one hellacious ass freaking tier in there, or at the end of this campaign, they're coming and getting ripped with you. Yes, they will go to the gym. They will coach you. They will help you become the hero you have always wanted to be. Just saying.
All right, so let's take a look at what the video tells us. First of all, before I hit this video, when you hear rip number 3, and he says now mostly in control of his powers, what kind of powers do you think our man Gary Growler has? I'm
thinking like Colossus style, like huge muscles, ripped. Just ripped. I mean, because it's in the title, right? So I'm thinking just this behemoth, he's learning to control his strength. He's trying not to, destroy chairs when he sits down. I would think there's shit like that would be kind of fun and all that, ripping people apart. Yeah, I mean, we'll terrify them. Just make a wish.
I think we are about to find out, but I think we might be in for a surprise, because I have an inkling that it might be going a different direction.
Uh-oh.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Steve Ricketts, creator of Ripped. Ripped isn't just a story about a guy with ridiculous superpowers. It's a man staring down his insecurities, pushing through the everyday crap life throws at him, and chasing his dream of being a hero. Even when he's far from perfect. The powers, sure, they're insane, but it's just the icing on the burrito. Gary grew up in a world full of
The icing
superpower
on the
people
burrito?
called uniques. Like most kids, he dreamed of discovering his own ability and becoming a hero like his idol, Friendly Man, the world's greatest unique. In issue number 1, Friendly Man was murdered by a mysterious new unique known only as El Monte. While processing the loss, Gary stumbles into his own unique ability, and in a moment of desperation, he unleashes it. His power, superpowered stomach gas. Now in Rip number 3, Gary finally steps up to be the hero he always dreamed of by taking on the saucy swamp witch Trixie LaCroix, also known as the Tooth Fairy. Rip number 3 is 36 full-color pages, 1 base cover and 3 homage variants to classic covers from yesteryear, each available in standard or holofoil. Thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting indie comics. Now, let's get ripped.
Howard Stern is going to be so pissed at this.
All right. Well, there you have it. It is the power of the farts. And then there was that Power Girl homage cover. That was fun.
That was pretty good. I mean, the guy's got a good sense of humor about it, and he's not taking himself too seriously. But I could have done without the. Okay, I saw it pop up. I don't care about the previous issues. I want to know what the hell's going on now. We could have just said Fallout from issues 1 and 2. Here we are, issue 3. We've dealt with loss. We've dealt with so many other things, and now we're going to get ripped. But it's not what you think, and that would have been better than all of the other stuff. But I do appreciate his sense of humor. I do appreciate him putting himself out there. But
Yep.
Yeah.
So this so honestly, I felt like it took a while in the trailer to really let it rip that he has the powers of the fart, because I was like, oh, you see him, you kind of see him, he almost looked kind of buff there for a second, and I thought you were right, and then finally I saw a shot of him like lifting off the ground. So I would have leaned into that a little bit more.
Yes.
Because what's challenging about this is that we were trying to ride the line between something ridiculously humorous and fun and what seems to be sort of like a more serious take mixed in there as well. And so that's a bit challenging, but he's doing all the things so far.
He's doing all the things, but here's the thing, and we haven't talked too much about this. Here's the thing. Here's the deal. Pacing is an extremely important thing when you are public speaking, when you are delivering a montage or anything else like that, or a monologue. There's something is called, you have to pace it, and this is just drawn out. I mean, I would have, and his tone is great, but he's so monotone. It's so flat. It's almost like, I mean, some people will be able to understand this. The Lloyd Furs, Tom Shane, Tom Bodette kind of monotone. Right. There's no energy. There's no inflection, and the pacing on it is so. It could be quicker.
Yep.
It's just get me to there, and even if the intro stayed the same with talking about the past, if you sped that up a little bit, I might be a little bit more inclined. But the pacing is a bit.
Yep.
Slow.
Yeah. I agree. Like, as far as just focusing on the video, it opened up pretty strong, and then it started tapering down pretty quick. The opening part with the characters and showing. Let me mute that a little bit. We've got the text was up there nicely. It read nicely, and we had these like pan outs of the character. And it was kind of leading up to stuff. So, like, even though I'm not a huge fan of reading text, I thought it was doing a good job. It was small, 2 or 3 words at a time.
It was simple.
And I was intrigued still at this point. And then by this, it didn't take long getting into this part where I was like,
yeah,
okay. I'd rather read that down below. So, I think that you might have been just as good to like say, here's the first 30 seconds and leave it at that, because I don't think that many people are going to watch too much more after that, unless you're giving them a reason to, Let's jump down now into the story. It says, welcome to the third explosive issue of Ripped. Oh, it gets better, Smurf. It gets better. Hold on. 36 pages of full-color, unflushable superhero action, featuring a standard cover plus 3 variant covers, paying homage to the comic book classics you grew up loving. Just like the last 2 issues, Ripped number 3 will be ready to print before this campaign ends, so you can expect your rewards 6 to 8 weeks after the close. No waiting, no filler. All right, can we get into what this issue is about? Ripped is a superhero comedy about Gary Growler, an insecure everyman who becomes the world's most unlikely hero when he discovers his superpower is explosive, concussive fart blasts. All right, so right here, this is probably the most clear and concise sentence I've heard so far about what this is. I'd probably put that higher up on the list. Because if they had just watched the first 30 seconds of the video, like I said, and they didn't sit there and listen to our creator talk, they still would not know, probably, that his powers are farts.
Yep.
Right? Because you didn't know that until he started explaining it. And so that's something you want to put up right away. Then it says, after the death of his idol, Friendly Man, Gary finds himself in a city spiraling into chaos, and in the middle of it, he unlocks his unique ability, a humiliating power tied directly to his deepest insecurity. It's absurd, it's heartfelt, and it's about becoming a hero despite your insecurities, especially when your powers are literally your worst nightmare. So again, that's another good pitch. So
that just needs to be higher up.
Yeah, both of these things.
It really
again,
does.
I'm gonna say it. Smurf's favorite line, except for I don't care about you, is don't bury the lead.
Don't bury the lead. Don't bury the lead. This is too far. You've already lost. I'm going to say you've probably lost a lot of the attention that you need with this down here this far. You really have.
So yes. Says, I feel like there's only so many fart jokes you can make before they come cringe. I would say that, but South Park's been successfully doing it now for 10, 12 seasons. They're still on the fart jokes, so they can keep it going.
Way more than that. I mean, South Park started in the 90s?
I don't even remember. I know it's been around for a while. Okay, so one of the things I'm looking for here is now, here's a section here called What's in Ripped number 3. So before, up above, we had What is Ripped, whatnot. Holy moly. Josh just clarified 30 seasons of South Park. You're correct.
I told you. It's like they've been going since the 90s.
All right. Then in this one, it says issue number 3 is after failing to stop the whatever bitches in Ripped number 2, our hero trained, focused, and leveled up his gas. In Rip number 3, he discovers he can fly thanks to his unique digestive gift and meets the mysterious swamp sorceress, Trixie LaCrue, a.k.a. the Tooth Fairy, who's packing a magical wand the size of a canoe paddle. The world of uniques just got weirder. All right, this goes on to talk about the creative team, your tiers, things like that. So far, I think it is a fun and interesting premise, but I would definitely get to the point a little bit faster. And I feel like you have a couple of mixed genres. You got the comedy hook strong with the fart powers and everything, but then you have this emotional angle, embracing insecurity to be a hero. And that's I'm on the fence about that one, because it's like you're trying to pull on 2 different strings of people's interests. So if you have, some emotional stuff in there, then that's fine. I'll discover that when I read the book. But I think you're going to be more successful if you just lean in on one of those two things, most likely the comedy part, and say, this is, fart jokes through and through. If you love South Park, you'll love this. Let's have some fun. Let's get ripped. Right. And then in the story, you kind of come into, there's more to this story than to be fair, I've seen South Park hit some pretty serious topics, even though they're having fun with it. So,
you could even still do like a heartwarming tale. Or maybe an ass-warming tale. There are so many ways. There's so many. Again, timing. See, the timing is key. But I'm with you. Give me one or the other, and let one be the surprise. And if you're going to lead into the comedy, go all in. Don't hold back. Just embrace it. This is what it is, and then kind of allude. Don't give us both, because it just confuses us.
All right, so let's take a quick look at the reward tiers before we come to the final part of our show where we decide
silent but digital
which one can be. That's right.
The guy's got so much humor. He's really it's good. I like it. I like it.
All right, that's the first one, silent but digital, for $8, a digital PDF of, get this, issues 1, 2, and 3 for only $8. That's a pretty great deal. Then we have the fresh issue A for $12. Sniff that fresh ink and maybe a faint sense of villainous gas. You're officially part of the unique Power Saga. You get a physical copy of Rip number 3, cover A, for $12. I would throw in the PDF with that one. Then you got issue B. It sounds weird. Issue B. It's issue 3, cover B. Messing up my brain when you say issue B. So that one is okay. The normal one's 12. This one's 17. If it's 17, why?
Is it because of the variant cover?
It's because of the variant. It's got this like. Where is it? Let me show you. This is the variant we're looking at. It's that classic Silver Surfer
different Thor. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But again, it doesn't cost more to print that than it costs to print issue 1. So give it value by making it limited. There's only 20. There's only 30. Whatever. Then it makes sense.
I do like his ass cape. I didn't comment on the ass cape. I do like that.
The ass cape.
The ass cape. I like it.
Yep.
He's not the hero. His ass is.
Covers C and D. They're all the same. And then we have a shiny holofoil cover for $25. None of these have a PDF, by the way. I would definitely include that.
Definitely include that.
Holofoil. Lots of holofoils. For $50, you get the Ripped and Ready Basics, a full set of the standard edition, issue 3, the base of all 3 variants. I don't understand what they're saying there. Physical copy of Ripped cover B, cover A. Okay, so basically you're getting all the covers.
You're just getting the plain covers, not the holofoil ones.
Yes. All right. Didn't word that very clearly. All right. Then the shiny Heiny B version covers. So it's this one, but without the cover graphics. It's a holofoil variant and it's a virgin. So this one says limited to 25 copies, but they want $50 for that. Good luck.
It's a little steep.
Out of Touch says, I hope he airs that cape out. Right? Same, or washes it regularly.
Hopefully he's got plenty to go through.
This looks sketchy. A copy of Ripped Blank with a full color sketch by Steve Ricketts, who I assume is the artist. That's the normal artist. $80. Now we got a Ripped Ready holofoil. We got Roll the Retailer pack, $125. The whole shit and shebang. A set of Ripped 3 variants in standard and holofoil, all total of 8 books, $140. And here we go, $250. You are unique as fuck. A character of you will appear in a unique Rip number 4. You'll be immortalized with your own bizarre power. Will work with you. Only 2 slots are available, so act quickly. One of them's already been taken. One thing I always have to tell people this. I don't know why it's such a thing that people forget, but this does not say you get a copy of the book.
I wouldn't
be clear about that.
Let them know.
According to what's being described here, you don't get any of the books.
Nope.
You just get drawn. So I would clarify that too.
Actually, you know what I would add to this? What I would add to this tier is not only do you get drawn into the book, but you get your own sketch cover of your character.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
See, I think would really sell that one, and I think that would improve that tier because not only am I in the book, but I have my own cover that is unique to me.
So yeah, if I'm paying $250, I definitely want copies of this book. I want it in PDF. I want the physical copy, at least the base physical copy. And then I also want to make sure I'm entitled to a copy of the one I'm being drawn in. Make that clear. Put all that in there. Plus, it makes it sound like, there's more to it. I think, that it might be implied, but you shouldn't rely on the implied stuff. All right. So there we go. There we have it. That is Ripped number 3. 3 campaigns chosen by destiny. And now it is time, ladies and gentlemen, for us to decide which one will be chosen to take our money. All right. So again, as a recap, we've got Sketch Night, a cool story about a guy with sketch powers. We got a horror comic about a town being haunted by witch powers or something. And then we got another comic about fart powers. So we got some unique powers going on. I
feel like we just blew right through them.
And cue the fart jokes for the rest of the show. All right, I'm going small on my little post-it notes today. So there you have it. Are you ready, sir?
I am ready.
Why can't I scroll? There's something weird going on here. I cannot access my sound effects. I was going to play my drum roll, but can't get to it. The scrolling up and down feature is not working. Strange. I'll have to check into that later. All right, no drum roll for you. All right, are you ready, sir?
Yes.
All right, I'm ready too. So, fake drum roll. Ready, set, go. Yeah, we're on the same page. Looks like our audience is to horror witch burning. Benjamin says, I'd get the horror comic. Out of Touch says epic quote. So we have kind of a unanimous vote today. Echoes, congratulations. I will be submitting some money to your campaign for the first time on a backer kit campaign.
Backer kit backing. I mean, not that I don't appreciate the levity and the energy that went into Ripped. I mean, it's a tough decision, but I think at the end of the day, Echoes presented the better package and the better premise, and it was all there. It was laid out, and again, that paragraph, that paragraph was so eloquently written that it really just resonated with me. So, not that fart jokes don't.
You're right. Sam would approve. He's a black cat. He likes the darkness, and he'd love that comic. I mean, honestly, I feel like both of those comics that we looked at, the other two, had a really interesting premise. They seemed like good comics. They had good looking work. But this show is about the pitch and about how it's delivered. And that Echoes campaign really just gave me a lot more information about why I should buy this book. So yeah. And again, I'm curious to see how far the fart jokes can carry. Right. Yeah, this is weird. I can barely access things. I got to figure out what's going on. All right, so that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you got something out of it. Like I said, if you want to get your campaign looked at before it launches, we have a feature on our site called the Crowdfund Clinic. It ranges from $20 to $35. So you're talking about the cost of literally one backer on your campaign to have your campaign reviewed. Break down the positives, negatives, summary of how you can improve it. Sean's with us right now, who just looked at his campaign, so he could probably attest to how thoroughly we go through your campaign. And then you can also check out my comic on actionlinestudios.com, Mythica. It's about demon hunting in World War I. It's got a Scottish soldier in a kilt and a sexy Irish spy. It's sexy, it's violent, and you'll love it. Smurf, where can they find you and see us out?
Next week, you will not have the pleasure of this face.
That's right.
I unfortunately will be busy doing one of the many things that I do. I do run the Colorado Festival of Horror with 3 other co-founders. This weekend, as in tomorrow, will be our beer launch at Woods Boss Brewing. If you're here local, come by starting at 3 o'clock. We will be unveiling this year's Amber Ale, which is Monster Mash. And there are 4 different labels that will be on a 4-pack that will be available for sale there. And next week is the Colorado Festival of Horror. And I am very excited. Yes.
And on that note, before you go, I want to mention that because you're going to be gone, we're going to have a very special guest host with us, Mr. Fish Lee. So be sure and tune in for that episode next week. All right, back to you, sir.
Yes, Fish, do not mess this up. No, I'm just kidding. You'll be fine. So next weekend is the Colorado Festival of Horror. Dude, yes, highly recommend the service. We have the clinic that will give you infinite looks into what's possible. So next weekend, Michael Bean, and never been to Colorado, Aliens fans. It is the monster 5th year installment of the Colorado Festival of Horror. I'm available on 5280geek.com, 5280geek on Facebook, 5280geek in Instagram. Shoot me messages. Always interested to talk to the fans. Every week I do a top 5 comics that will be coming out on Wednesday. And also this weekend is the All Seas Collector Showcase. It is a action-packed weekend, by all means, and the All Seas is free to attend. So before you come get some beer, go see All Seas. They got a live auction going on. It's amazing. Ooh. But on that bombshell, we shall say goodbye. In the meantime, run fast, laugh hard, and always be kind. Good night!